Here we have a package that's coming from Reza, Maryland, and inside the package there is an iPhone 8. So Reza said, my phone has water damage. It starts and I feel also the touch button. I also hear sounds and it even connects to my car Bluetooth. But it looks like the screen is not working. I brought it to a local shop, but they were very incompetent. I saw your video on YouTube, which gave me more trust that you may be able to fix it. I know it is water damage, but I'm hoping that there might be a chance. Okay, so hopefully we are able to fix this phone for the customer. It looks like there's a problem with the display. Not the display itself, because I already took the phone apart and I tried another display and it did not work. So I took the board off the iPhone and I still did not work on the board. We're gonna work on it together to see what's going on. Now, customer sent this phone in. I was able to feel the vibration when I click on the home button, so it means the phone is on, but nothing is being displayed on the screen. Now, if we plug the power supply, it's drawing 0.14, 0.2, 0.48, 0.8, 1.5, 1.1, and then it's gonna settle down 0.3. The motherboard does power on and it seems to be normal, but we're not getting any display on the screen. Now, as for the heat, I do feel heat on the top area of the board here. We do not know if that has anything to do with why there's no image on the screen, but we're gonna find out. I'm gonna disconnect power, and the first thing I want to do is check the FEC connectors. Now, customer said the phone suffered liquid damage, so that's what we're looking out for. And right off the bat, I see something right here, a sign of corrosion. We're gonna remove this whole thing here. This is where the screen plugs in. That's it. Now we're gonna look and see if we see anything unusual. That's number one, physical inspection. Okay, we have this component looks corroded. Oh, I was scratching this area and also the component on top, and it just flew right off. Let's see what that component is. And look at that, it's a PP1V8 display con. That's a very important filter. And the pad is gone. The pad is gone. So the pad was not making a good connection. Okay, I'm back to working on this iPhone 8. I had to leave it yesterday. What we discovered yesterday is we have a blown pad. This missing pad is 1.8 volt IO. The only way to fix that broken pad is to run a wire from nearby component that's on the same line and connect it over to the other part of the component, which is this one here. So right now this pad is missing, but since this is a filter, it's more like a fuse. So we can run a wire from here. We can run it all the way up to right over here or to right here. But before I run the wire, I want to make sure that we are getting 1.8 volts at this point or at that point. Let's go ahead and test to see if we have 1.8 volts here, and also if we have 1.8 volts here. If we do, great, we'll run a wire and our problem should be fixed. If not, then what I'm going to do is flip the board and test some points on the back of the board and see if any of those red labeled components are receiving 1.8 volts. I just want to know if the board is generating the 1.8 volts. So let's start with those two components first, front of the board. So we're gonna do a black probe on ground. We are in voltage mode right now, and if we test this point right here, we should be getting 1.8 volts. We are getting 1.3 volts and not 1.8. 1.3 volts. 1.3 volts. means there's no short, but there could be corrosion somewhere on the board. Okay, what if we test the other point on that board, front of the board? And we are getting 1.1. 1.1. So that's not 1.8. 1.2. Okay, so 1.2 is not 1.8. Let's go ahead and flip the board, test some points on back of the board, and see if the board is generating 1.8 volts. Where can we test on back of the board? We can test this component here. If we test this point right here, based on the board diagram, we should be getting 1.8 volts at this point, and the meter is showing 1.63, which is not 1.8. These here should all be 1.8 volts, and we have 1.64, 1.63, 1.64. Okay, so what do we conclude from this testing here? We do have 1.65 all the way on back of the board, not 1.8. Voltage is not reaching all the way to the front. So I'm thinking it could be corrosion somewhere under the plate. Since the phone did suffer liquid damage, we do not have it that short, but we do have a drop in voltage. What I'm going to do right now is remove the plate, put the board in the ultrasonic machine, and then we're gonna see if we get 1.8 volts on front of the board. Alright, so I just removed the plate from the top, and this is the area I care about based on the board diagram. There's a lot of components next to the CPU area that could be corroded and causing the voltage to drop. So I'm gonna put this in the ultrasonic machine and see how it goes. So the board is out of the ultrasonic, all dry, all clean, and hopefully we have 1.8 volts. And yes, we have 1.8. 1.8. 1.8, awesome. So what I'm going to do is run a wire from this component here all the way down to this pad here. I'm using an insulated wire so it doesn't short out when it touches the plate on the board. We're gonna solder it to that point right over here. Okay, so this is done. And we're gonna connect this one all the way. What I want to check is if we are now getting 1.8 volts at the FPC connector here. And that should be pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the 9th pin should now have 1.8 volts. Okay, so if we measure on pin 9, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we are getting 1.8 volts. Let's do that one more time. .8. Awesome. Now, will the screen work? We do not know. There could be some other issues with the board. Okay, and let's try to power the phone on. Will we get any display on the screen? Yes. We have a display. Right now, all we have to do is we have to secure that wire in place so it doesn't rip off the board again. But the phone is working. And touch is working. Awesome. Awesome. Very good. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll do something else in the next video.